We are back live, Reec Radio. You know we got a very special guest in the building today. Got to play that sound.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
Shout out to everybody that is tuned in live right now in Charlotte, CMVA 107.5. Everybody in Michigan, Miami, and Indiana. Of course, we're broadcasting live from Media Campus West right here in Austell, a little bit west of the ATL. Reec is locked in with you, and today we have a very special guest that you just heard. The diabetic cuisine specialist. We're going to talk about that in a second. Mr. Terrence Hutchinson is in the building. What's up, sir?
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. Happy New Year. Good thing.
Our pleasure. We want to definitely spread the word about the things that you have going on. These wonderful things. You're saving lives. Yeah. You've made some headway. But before we get started, we do a little thing here called the biggest intro ever. So you ready for that?
Yeah, sure.
Let's get into it.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
All right, man, let's talk about Mr. Terrence Hutchinson right now, our special guest for the day. The CEO of the Diabetic Cuisine is making headway as a leading voice of health and tasty eating habits. You've heard him on a multitude of platforms telling his story of lifestyle change and diabetic reversal. You've read his work in fitness trades. You've seen him on TV, and you've listened to him spread so many key practices on radio and podcasts across the country. Terrence Hutchinson, the man who's saving lives with every sprinkle, live on the Reec Show. What's up?
That's funny, man. How you, man? I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much for the warm introduction, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you definitely deserve the biggest intro ever, man. You're saving lives. Like I said, it wasn't a game. When we talk about health, we don't always think of it in a tasty, delicious way. You know, we think about eating grass roots and seeds and stuff. But you're making it fun for the people, which in turn gets people interested in it. So let's kind of talk about your journey for those who aren't 100% familiar with you. You had a diabetes scare.
Right.
You lost 40 pounds in 3 days.
Yeah.
Can you walk our audience through that, and then we can kind of get into what prompted you to jump into this health and lifestyle journey?
Yeah, of course. In 2010, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I really didn't know what it was, you know, and I was at a pool party in Miami, and I started having symptoms of blurry vision, frequent urination, high sugar cravings, you know, weight loss, improper sleeping patterns. Like I wasn't getting any sleep, and I knew something was wrong immediately. So the next day I left Miami, came back to Atlanta, and called my doctor, and they said, come on in the next day. And I passed out right there in the hospital lobby, in the doctor's office lobby. And they called 911 and came and got me. And that's when I found out that I was suffering from type 2 diabetes. So my blood glucose was a 1360. My A1C was a 9.6. So, you know, it was amazing how they got me to the hospital, the Cab Medical, right 2 blocks around the corner. And it was a scary moment. I had an out-of-body experience in the back of the ambulance. And they told me, say, you know, they asked me, they said, you know what's going on with you? And I said, nah. They said, you got type 2 diabetes. And I brushed it off because I'm thinking, you know, that's an old person disease. How I get type 2 diabetes, you know, and that's when I found out. I was in ICU for 3.5 days, hooked up to IV saline solutions, lost the appetite, weight loss extreme. And before you know it, they was poking me every hour on hour, taking blood work, seeing what my numbers was. And I was so confused, man. I thought I had already killed myself because, you know, I died that day, literally in the hospital. But, you know, I was five of us checked in, and I'm the only person that walked out 3 days later from ICU. So at that point, I said, man, I got to get my life back together. But what really triggered that, and I didn't know what was going on, is that I was suffering from depression. And that depression led me to, I was going through a divorce. I moved here from New York in 2006. And from 2006 to 2010, 4 years of partying, drinking, smoking, just living a bachelor lifestyle caught up with me. And that put me in the ICU. And so right at that point, I needed to get my life together for real.
Right. I mean, 3 days in the hospital and 40 pounds will do it, man. I
Yeah, man.
when you say you were down in Miami, luckily you made it back home before you had that extreme episode.
The funny thing, because the distance between Miami and Atlanta on a road trip.
Right.
Sometimes, depending who driving, it'll be 13, 15 hours, right?
Right. Right.
And that was a long road trip because I got to keep telling the driver, pull over, I got to use the bathroom.
Right.
Every 20 minutes, I had to pee. And that's one of the side effects of elevation blood glucose, diabetes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frequent urination. So imagine driving and you're in the back seat. You can't hold it. You cannot hold it. Your bladder, you just can't hold it. And I had to really, really argue with the drivers. And then also, I said, man, look, just get me uh, empty water bottle, something. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that was something, you on the road trip with your dudes, they didn't want
Right.
to, like, dude,
That's something your grandma tell you when you driving from to the country from the city in the
man,
summer. Like, just we not pulling over.
you're
Use
not
the
pulling
water
over,
bottle.
man,
Right.
so, but they knew something was going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked out for me. But when I got back, man, it was a life-changing moment. So
Mm.
extremely
That's
wonderful.
crazy, man. No symptoms, that frequent urination, the blurred
Yeah,
vision, the dizziness.
yeah,
That's something people need to know, and I
yeah,
appreciate you sharing that information. Right now, we're with Terrence Hutchinson. We're talking about his scare with having type 2 diabetes, the way he found out, and why he started jumping to this change.
yeah.
Diabetes reversal. Talk to me about that. I know you said you left the hospital. You're the only one out of the 5 people that came in the ICU. I know that was a wake up call right there.
Oh
I
yeah,
want to take a quick little touch back on the out of body experience when you said you flatlined basically,
yeah,
and it was what was that like for you? Because I talked to a gunshot victim before, and he kind
yeah,
of ran down that with us. Can you
yeah,
tell me what
yeah.
yours was like, if you don't mind?
No, it's fine. I tell a story all the time. That was my first time experiencing the out of body experience. And I was laying on the gurney and I saw myself hovering over me, yelling at me, said, you stupid. Look what you done did to us,
Mm,
and I just looked at this and I thought I was done at that point. I thought, God done called me out. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what it was. And and all of a sudden, just like that, I was back into my body.
mm,
So that was a scary moment for me. I never saw myself outside of my body like that, and
mm-hmm.
you read about it, you hear about it,
Right,
but
right.
I never really experienced it until that moment. And that freaked me out, man. And I knew things were really, really going down at this particular moment for me. And I said, I got to get it together, man. But that was scary. That was a scary moment.
Some people do have those experiences and they take them one way or other. I appreciate personally, we appreciate here at Reec Radio the way you did it. Like you had your out of body experience and your life was spared, and now you're saving others through your
Yeah.
journey, through your information. So let's kind of talk about that, man.
Mhm.
Diabetic reversal. How did you get into your run? Because like I said earlier, man, you had these foods and they're not always delicious. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, the diabetes reversal came out of an accident because
Mm,
when you're in the hospital and you're going through diabetes, the first thing they want to talk to you about is maintenance. So you got to understand this: diabetes maintenance is a $468 million a year business. They want to keep you locked in on you maintaining diabetes instead of reversing diabetes. They never talk about reversal because they can't make no money off you if you're reversing it. So if you're a
mm,
diabetic sufferer, you're going to spend around $10,000 to $16,000 per year just on maintenance, and that's medications, doctor's visits, going to the dentist, going to the neuropathy to get your nerve checked, going to get your eyes checked. Like all those things add up. Even if you have great insurance,
mm-hmm.
you're going to still come out of pocket just off maintaining diabetes. So
Right.
when I started doing, imagine every time you eat some food, you got to prick your finger and see what your numbers are, then get the injection to make sure
Mm,
you're okay.
right.
So the complications or the side effects of the medicine could be, weight gain or, constipation, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I found about reversal, I started Googling and I ran across a site, I think it was D Life, and they was talking about reversal. And I said, this is totally different from what the doctors in the hospitals are trying to school me on.
Right.
You know, once I got into that, it was a game changer for me. But the doctors, they pretty much didn't want to take me off the medicine. And I just stopped going after a few years. I'm like, man, I'm feeling fine. I'm checking my numbers. I'm eating better. And one thing that really helped me is elixirs. And what I mean by healthy elixirs, I mean cinnamon and, your cumin, your turmeric, your apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar was a life changer for me because,
Really?
yeah, a couple of tablespoons at night, and I say this all the time. People say, well, Terrence, I can't do apple cider vinegar like that. I said, look, man, I was taking shots of Hennessy and Parmesan.
Right.
I
A
can.
little apple cider vinegar ain't gonna hurt nobody.
You
Right.
understand? So it's like I had to change my mindset because even though the apple cider vinegar does not have a great taste, but neither does the Hennessy, neither does the
Man.
alcohol.
I'm trying to tell you, listen,
Yeah.
I don't judge anybody off of what they do. To each his
Yeah.
own, whatever makes you happy floats your boat. But
Yeah.
I don't drink. It's not just because of I don't like the after effects, but I
Yeah.
don't like the taste. Like it's nasty to me. So I get it.
Yeah, and I was taking, I was remember now I was going through a depression all
Right,
that
right. I
time.
remember, yeah.
06 to 2010. I didn't know what that was. I just was wilding out. I'm in Atlanta. I'm just wilding.
You escaping
Yeah,
that whatever put you in that terrible place, that dark place.
I was suppressing,
Yeah.
and
I've been there.
for the symptoms for depression in men is irritability, frustration, anger. You don't get the normal like depression and all that. Like the
You're gloomy and all of that.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna come out a different way.
It's going to come out a different way. And I didn't understand that till I went to therapy. Once I went to therapy, that's when my therapist, told me this is what it is. And I said, depression. And they said, yeah, these are signs of depression in men. And because of that, I was ended up diagnosed with type 2 diabetes because I'm eating out, I'm partying, I'm from city to city. Anything that was within a 4 to 10 hour car drive, I was
You
to the
there.
party. I was there. So, that I had to go through that to get here.
Right.
And so that test became my testimony, or my mess became my message. And right at that point, I realized that, I had a purpose on my life. Um,
Yeah.
but just diabetes will keep you broke. Okay, it's going to keep you in the poorhouse. It's going to keep your credit jacked up if you're not paying those medical bills. So, you really got to make sure that you're changing your lifestyle up and staying away from keeping your stress levels in check. That's another thing. Especially right now during the pandemic, you want to make sure if you're suffering from diabetes, you definitely want to make sure that you are on top of your stress levels. You're not letting everything mess with you as much, because that's going to increase your cortisol hormones, your fat hormones, your food cravings, your sugar cravings, alcohol consumption, self-medicating, uh, I mean, whatever it is. So, and most complications from diabetes, especially if you doing COVID city, is going to be 10 times more severe than if you didn't have COVID. So, you know what I'm saying? So like those pains, what you go through, those normal pains you go through if you had COVID,
Yeah.
imagine if you suffered from diabetes on top of that. Like
Yeah.
that pain is going to be extreme. So um, I tell anybody, man, if you have diabetes, focus on reversal, exercise, proper nutrition, water intake, stress management, time management, detoxify your life. Get away if it's your career that's stressing you out, quit or find another job.
Yeah.
I tell you that, if you can.
Yeah.
If it,
Because
if you
you won't be able to work anyway if you in the hospital bed or laid out somewhere. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, when I left, I was working in corporate America then, and I had to take 45 days off because of it to recover. And I had great insurance, and out of pocket, my hospital stay for 3.5 days was close to $12,000.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I only had to pay 800. So, but it doesn't even matter if it's diabetes. It can be heart disease, obesity, high blood pressure, whatever you're in the hospital with.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you a lot of bread. Staying sick is going to keep you broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the best thing to do is to monitor your activities and make sure that you're on track with your health and wellness for real.
Giving us gold right now with Terrence Hutchinson talking about diabetic reversal. Let's dive into that a little bit. And then I want to actually talk a little bit about your history too. So with reversal, you mentioned that a couple times. What is that?
Reversal is when you can reverse your diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, when you can make sure that your A1C is in check, which is just a blood test for the last 90 days, right? So you want to make sure you got that like 5.0, 5.5, or those are the normal levels. Are you able to control your glucose number? Like if you get up in the morning, prick your finger, from 80 to 120s in normal ranges. If you're able to consistently keep those numbers within those number blocks for a long periods of time, and then you can, consulting with your doctor along the way, they're gonna say, look, man, your systems look good, your blood look good, your vital organs look fine. We're gonna recommend that we pull you off the medicine, and now you actually just reversed it. But
So you,
so yeah, because here's the problem I have with a lot of people who suffer from diabetes. Just because you're taking the medicine, whether it's insulin, metformin, or whatever brand you're taking, doesn't mean it's the green light to go eat whatever you want to eat. And this is where people fail at. And when that happens, you're going to lock yourself in to a lifetime of hospital bills and more medication,
right.
because most hospitals and doctors know that 90% of people who are suffering with type 2 diabetes, they're not going to do the right thing. Every time they go back to the doctor, it's always the same numbers. It's always the same problems. And now it's coming down to possible amputations or in the legs and the feet, or, you got periodontal gum disease now, your teeth falling out, your gum line is coming from your teeth, or you're going blind, you got kidney disease. Like, these things are serious, man. So you got to make sure that you stay on point. So when I say reversal, is cost less to reverse it than to maintain it. It's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars to maintain diabetes versus reversal. So if somebody say, thank you, hey, it costs too much to eat healthy. Fruits and vegetables, salads are high, fresh meats and stuff like that is high. So you go to the high preservative stuff, the frozen section, the stuff that's in a box, stuff that's in a can, because it's cheaper, right? But when you get your hospital bill, you have no,
You spent that 3 times.
yeah,
Right.
because that hospital bill, like, let's just say, Reece, you're diagnosed with high blood pressure. Here go your medicine. Every month you got this 30-day supply. You want
Right.
to allocate that money regardless
Yeah.
to get your medicine. If you do the same thing with a nice little grocery bill every month, it's the same thing, but it's going to cost less over time
Yeah.
than the medicine. And then there's just too many side effects with a lot of these medicines these days. So you want to make sure that you're using food as your medicine to help reverse type 2 diabetes or any type of chronic lifestyle condition, because you can do it. It's been done for generations, even before we was born, before our ancestors was eating from the garden to the table,
Yeah.
and we didn't have all the diabetes and all that stuff, back then compared to the last 30 years.
Yeah, and there's some ancillary things that go on with that too. Like, as people know that follow me, know I have chickens. Like, I have backyard chickens, right?
Mhm.
So I see the difference between the store-bought eggs and the fresh eggs, but I also see the difference because I'm outside more.
Yeah.
So when you're outside more, you get natural vitamin D, you get stress release, you get all types of things that go along with like being in the garden or planting things like that.
Yeah.
So I get
Oh,
it.
yeah. And that's an excellent point. Um, the chickens are fresh. I got a friend in
Right.
Canton, he got a whole bunch of chickens and roosters running around, and he
Right.
was like, man, and them chickens are, they saving him a ton of money too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's growing his own food, the garden to the table.
Yep.
He got a lot of acres. So that if you can do that, and I applaud you for that, because that's a great thing to make sure or guarantee that you are consuming the freshest products, whether it's protein, fiber, or carb, whatever that
Yeah.
you possibly can do to feed your body. So you can't really put your trust in the Food and Drug Administration constantly. They still operating from a 1975 mandate. So as consumers, we put our trust in the local supermarkets and all that stuff like that. But as soon as there's a call back on that ground beef or lettuce, you
Right.
freak out, right? But if you can grow your own stuff, that's perfect, man. So you reduces your chance of contracting lifestyle conditions such like as diabetes, of any type of high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, heart disease, because now you know what you're growing your food yourself, and you know what type of fertilizer that you're using.
Yep.
You know what you're feeding your chickens, Reece.
Right. 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 I
So
know. I know. Right. And I could trust. I could trust what's going on with the stuff that I have grown or put my hands on. Like I know I haven't used
yeah,
this pesticide that causes cancer or this is that and this third. So
yeah,
I definitely get it, man.
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate you taking time to talk to us about that. I do want to get a day in the life of Terrence Hutchinson because we have some people out here that are listening. They may be just struggling with diabetes or high blood pressure or anything that's connected to that
Yeah.
a different type of lifestyle. So kind of walk us through a day in the life and what it means for you to maintain your diabetic reversal status.
Oh man, great question. A day in the life with me is, getting up early, man. I get up, alarm go off at 5. I'm up. I'm getting my day started. I'm stretching. I'm working with clients at 6 in the morning. We're talking about exercise, nutrition, the importance of stretching, diet, water consumption, stress management. I'm doing that for a few hours a day, and I'm coming back to the home office, and I'm working on different programs to really try to, push out in the market. Right now, with the spices, we are trying to put it out in a lot of major stores around the country. The books are doing well, the programs are doing well, and I'm making sure that I'm preparing my meals every day. I stop eating out, and not just for me, but for my family as well. And really understanding, like, if my food cravings, like if I'm craving some chips or something crunchy or salty, I have to ask myself, what's causing me to crave this? You
Mm,
know, am I stressing right now? What are my triggers?
okay.
So I go through my day. Like, today is a beautiful day. I just came back from meeting with a client at a Marietta a coffee shop, and he wanted coffee. I said, "Nah, just give me a smoothie because I don't want the caffeine." So just monitoring my days, my activities every day, where I need to be, what I have to do. What's the stress level of it? Did I drink my water today? Did I stretch for at least 20 minutes today? Did I work out? Whether it's walking the subdivision, whatever it is. So those are my days in a nutshell. If I need to go out, like I'm talking to you, and so this is what brings me joy. This is what keeps me, healthy and happy, not just physically, but spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally. We got to have those components in place. Like, a day through the life is just to make sure that I'm eating properly, I'm working out, I'm coaching clients. I'm talking to people all around the world to make sure that they're on the right path. A lot of times it's not about the monetary aspect of it. It's about, the purpose part of it. I really try to make a difference in people's lives. If I'm not doing that on a daily basis, then I feel like I'm not doing anything.
Got you.
So
Got you.
I got to find creative ways just to stay on top of it all.
Got you. For the everyday person that's looking to make at least small lifestyle changes until they can get to where do you think they should start? Would it be like more water consumption, or I know you said earlier trying to alleviate some stresses, or is it the
Yeah.
food? Talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, man, definitely. If you can, like most people, because we're quarantined or we working from home, so we live in a sedentary lifestyle. Most people gain the dreaded 15 pounds quarantine, 15, or they're suffering from some type of, lumbar issue because they're sitting now, stiff joints, arthritis set in, or they got obese. So the best thing to do is to, if you can't get to the gym or wherever, just walk the subdivision, man. Do some yard work, walk the dog, anything you can do to keep the blood flowing and keep your joints nice and lubricated. Definitely drink your water. Definitely don't skip breakfast. Making sure that you get a multivitamin, especially if you're over 40 years old and all that. You want to you want to get a multivitamin because you're not going to get, a lot of people are not going to eat all the nutrients from food. Some
Right.
people don't like certain vegetables and meats. So if that's the case, you need a supplement. You need a multivitamin. Definitely, once again, increase your water. A lot of people don't like water, but I'm gonna tell you, man, before all these Coca-Colas and, well, sorry to mention their name, but these sugary drinks and back in the day we had all the sugary powders. Water was our primary drink, and we
Yeah.
lived to be 90 to 100 years old off of water. So
Say
you
it
got,
again.
we,
Say it again.
yeah, 90. I mean, we lived to be 90 100 years old just on water alone. We didn't put all the impurities that's out here right now in our bodies.
Right.
So when you talk about our ancestors, water was their drink.
Yeah.
Then it was some wine, you know what I'm saying? They had the grapes and all that. Obviously, that's
Right.
going back to the biblical days, but water was that primary drink that helped hydrate your body, whether it's
Yeah.
your brain, your vital organs, your blood circulatory systems, your respiratory system, your skeletal muscular system, your cellulatory system. Like
Yeah.
water
We're water
is
based.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
key thing. So if you want to reverse the aging process and look younger, reduce stress, I mean wrinkles in your face and all that stuff like that, water is the key
Mm-hmm.
for everything. So when most people say, "Man, T, every time I go to the bathroom, my urine is yellow," I said, "That's because you're dehydrated. You need more water." You know what I'm saying? But I can't stand water. I said, "You better get used to it." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Real
Yeah.
talk. That
Yeah,
water
that's
is
true.
key.
That's true. Man,
So
I heard a song not too long ago say drink water and mind my business. That sounds like everything you're talking about right now.
it. Man. I don't even care if you're out at night and you having yourself a cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
For every ounce of alcohol that you drink, you need to drink equal amount of H2O to help dilute that drink. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You really have to pay attention to that. Like some people go out and they got drink after drink after drink. That's all sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not diluting that alcohol, then that's going to increase your appetite. So you got to feed that liquor now.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, if you at a bar, you at a whatever it is, you're gonna want something. You want a burger, you want fries, you want ribs. You just feeding the whole thing.
Right.
It's just a vicious cycle. So water is going to be that beverage that's going to help you develop a healthier lifestyle, help you to reverse type 2 diabetes, help lower your blood pressure, help with obesity, cardiovascular disease, heart disease, all those different things. If you're not drinking water every day, every hour on hour, you're not getting a glass of water, then you're already subjecting yourself to a lifetime of illness and disease.
Yeah, you said a mouthful right there. I do want to talk about your spices. These spices.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these spices because you making a healthy lifestyle, a healthy food delicious. How'd you come up with some of these spices, and And tell us about it, because a lot of times the stuff that we use, I won't name any name brands, but we
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the red top is full of sodium. You know, we like that red top. It's
You
full of
know,
sodium.
yeah, man. During the quarantine, I was working with the legendary motivational speaker Les Brown. He hired me to be his nutritionist and personal chef. And like you said, I was getting products from a lot of the stores that I was,
Yeah,
the household products,
right.
we can't name the names, but your favorite stuff everybody got on the shelf. And then all of a sudden, I said, man, God gave me the vision. He was like, create your own. And that's what I said. I was like, So I reached out to some peers of mine who are dietitians, and I know my way around the kitchen with spices as well, and I know what I wanted. So I reached out to a spice manufacturer, and I said, look, this is what I want to do. This is what I got in mind. And they was like, that's ingenious. So I came up with a blend, and the rest is history. And since then, since I launched like 3 months ago, man, we've been selling out in a lot of stores, out there in by Tangier Mall out there in Locust Grove. I got my products out there, and
Yeah.
Olive in a Bottle. Shout out to Olive in a Bottle store. And we've been selling out, and now I'm working with a company called Range Me. Excuse me, and we're pitching to, Costco, Sam's, Harris Teeter, a lot of these big major stores right now to get the products on shelves, around the country to, rival the leading brands or the favorite brands that's out there on shelves today.
Yeah.
Because the spice brand, the spice industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. If you go in your favorite store right now and walk down the aisle, you're going to see tons and tons of spices,
Yeah.
and you never even think about it until you get into that realm. And I did my research on everything, man. And your favorite spices, they full of it.
Yeah.
They running the game on you, man. And so I wanted to have a product that was, if you see this on the shelf, it would catch your eye immediately,
Hmm.
right? And then when you look at the ingredients, everything has the ingredients on the back. And this is the all-purpose savory citrus right here, all natural. And this is the garlic and herb with sesame seeds, And we want to have a product that not only targets the diabetic community, but also targets high blood pressure, obesity, anything. So
Yeah.
if you love food and you love to cook, but people
Yeah. I
aren't
love, I
sure.
love, I love both of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
Right.
And that's the whole thing, but people
Right.
always ask me all the time, you know, what type of seasons do I use or what can I use? So and that coincide exactly with what I do as an author, as a personal chef, as a trainer. I said, look, this is what you're going to use. I'm gonna give you the benefits of why you should. And then you can put it just on anything. It's a flavor game changer, and people are really happy with it, and we're marketing it like crazy right now. And we really want to strategically take our time because there's no rush to go crazy,
Hmm.
right? Because there's so many different products on the market, but right now we are the only product that's targeting the diabetic community.
Hmm.
Especially in our community, in the Latino communities, we have the highest risk of diabetes in the country,
Mm.
right? So if you think about the diabetic community, like in this country in Western society, there's 33 million people who are diagnosed type 2 diabetics in this country. 88 million people who are pre-diabetic right now in the United States. And that's according to the American Diabetes Association. So the World Health Organization, the WHO, worldwide, there's over 400 million people around the world who are, diagnosed as type 2 diabetes.
Right.
And those are big numbers,
And
right?
that's just the people that are going to get tested. This is plenty of
Yeah,
people that aren't going to see their regular physician and
right.
PCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing. We got to get out of the the idea of not going and getting checked. You know, if you feel something is going wrong, and then you just need to go get checked. You know, sometimes you may not have any symptoms, but you know, you need to go and do annuals. You know, like it's time for my annual again, so I got to go make sure that I'm okay. You know, and it's important because you can be feeling fine, like I was in Miami, feeling great, and all of a sudden, I, you know, I had a spiral downfall.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, what's going on? And that's what happened. But that came from the alcohol consumption, the food, you know,
Yeah.
all type of stuff that really sabotaged me. But it was my time to go through it. So don't let tragedy. Well, sometimes when people make a change, tragedy hits,
Yeah.
and that's when they say, okay, let me go get my stuff together. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
But that's why I love what you're doing, because you had the tragedy, but you're trying to keep other people from having to hit that wall to make
yeah,
that change. So we appreciate that.
I appreciate that because it's I'm not going to bash doctors in hospitals because there's some great professionals that's working over there. But as a patient, you've been diagnosed with stuff. You got to do your self diligence and educate yourself as well to make sure that you fully understand what your diagnoses are is, and you want to do your research, but don't self-diagnose yourself. Don't ever do that. But don't, like, for me, I didn't take 100% what the hospitals and doctors told me to do, because when I was first doing it, I was spending, like, my diabetic insulin pens was 5 pens in a box with 4 injections was $400 per week
Whew.
with good insurance,
Right.
right? And this is during the time as Lantus. Lantus was a new product for diabetes. It came out the same time when Cialis came out, the erectile dysfunction pill that was competing against Viagra. So the guy, I was at my doctor, and then the guy came in with the big case, and he had samples of, Cialis and all that. And I asked him, I was like, look, man, you got any samples of this? He said, nah, we ain't gonna never have samples of that. That's straight out. You got to come out of pocket.
Wow.
So yeah,
And
so I
that's
said,
something that's saving people's lives, which is that's so wild to me
yeah,
that they'll give you something that's not needed to as a free sample, is not needed for you to
yeah,
actually live, and something that you need,
yeah.
you had to pay for it. And you talking about $400 a week.
Well,
That's interesting.
yeah. I mean, I would have been broke in a poorhouse to this day. And now you talking about 2010, so that was 12 years ago. If I were to continue on with what they was telling me on maintenance,
Yeah.
I would have been bankrupt. My credit would have been shot, all because of medical bills. Medical bills is the third leading cause of bankruptcy in this country.
Yeah.
So you can't do nothing, because just I got a client who suffered a stroke a few years ago, and he said, I'm gonna pay these medical bills for the rest of my life,
Wow.
because he recovering, but he still can't do a lot of the basic motor skills like brush your teeth, comb your hair, getting on the ground, getting back up, your gross motor skills, buttoning your shirt, playing on your cell phone. Like, you got to learn how to talk again, walk again, chew
Right.
again. Imagine going through that. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars, if more, depending on your situation. So
Yeah.
that's why I said, man, you got to eat right as best as you can. You got to work out. You got to make sure that you're staying out of those doctor's offices and those hospitals. It's like right now, I'm freaked out to go to a hospital because I had so many friends that passed away last year from, they had diabetes and then they caught COVID while they was in the hospital, or then they died. You know, so that kind of freaks me out a little bit. That's a motivation for me. When you see your friends laying in the casket, bro, you really look at yourself and hard in the mirror and say, look, I got to make some more changes. What can I
Yeah.
tweak?
Yeah.
Because that can be me.
Yeah.
And that could have been me in 2010.
Yeah.
You know, like people are leaving at record numbers, man. You know, and they're trying to label everything as COVID. You know, and but at the end of the day, you got to keep your immune system up, and with diet and exercise. You know, multivitamin. You know, getting the right blends of seasonings. Um, Drinking your water, getting the vitamin C, and like you mentioned a few minutes ago, you're in the backyard, you outside with the sunlight,
Yeah.
and that's the key thing. Now, I want to say this, Reese, and that's a beautiful thing that you said, because remember in 2020, they was telling everybody to stay indoors,
Yeah. Yeah.
do not come outside. When you stay indoors for long periods of time, that naturally weakens your immune system.
Yeah. And it builds stress too.
The body is designed to be outdoors, to get in the sunlight, to get in the natural vitamin D from the sun, to help strengthen our immune system. So they shocked us into staying in the house, don't come out, don't do this, do that, wear your mask. All these things will weaken your immune system. You see what I'm saying? So you got to get outdoors, man. Like, it's a beautiful day this morning in Atlanta. I already been outside.
Yeah.
After this, I'm going back outside. Get in that sun, because I get all my energy from the sun. I don't like when
Yeah.
it's gray outside. So that's
Right.
a beautiful thing. And you on the right. You on the right. Let me tell you something, brother. Getting outside like that, growing your own food, fresh eggs every day, getting your water, keeping your stress down. That's the fast pace for overall success as far as your health and wellness. Straight up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Appreciate that,
man.
man. Thank you for sharing all these gems, man. I know you got plenty to do. I want to get to a section where we do our fast four questions. So if you're ready for that, we're gonna go ahead and hit them with you. You ready?
Yeah, man. Let's go.
All right, I heard you mention breakfast, so this might be the answer to this one. But what is your favorite meal of the day?
Breakfast, man.
Okay, what's a typical breakfast for you?
Oh man, vegetable omelet with some gravy, red potatoes, glass of orange juice, piece of fruit. I'm good.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna have to get you some eggs ASAP. If you like omelets like that, I'm gonna load you up.
Yeah, bet.
All right, here's the next question. If you could pick one thing that you wish people just knew or that they just got, what would that thing be?
New I got.
Yeah, just one thing that people knew, just one thing that they knew off bat. What would that thing be?
Oh man, right off the top of my head, don't trust everything that the media is saying. Don't, don't.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You're right.
Not just the media as far as news,
Right.
but what you see on online, social media as well.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, don't fall into the trends and the fads of what you should be doing.
Man,
Take
I've seen at least 3 things put out there in mass numbers and retracted within the same day.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 days. It's crazy. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Dinner table with 5 seats. You're doing the cooking. Who would you invite to this dinner and what would you make for them? It could be any 5 people.
Any random 5 people.
Anybody in the world.
Oh man, it would definitely be maybe Warren Buffett. I would definitely have Jay-Z on there. Definitely have Obama.
Okay.
Uh,
This is a
Definitely
good
have.
table.
Yeah. This is a good table. I definitely have. Most recently, I've been paying attention to Wall Street Trapper. I like his groove.
Yeah.
I would definitely have him on there. Let me see who else I would have on there. My fiance, I definitely have her at the table
Okay.
because
So you know how to play the game.
yeah, she's mad dope, man. She dope. So I definitely,
That's why she's your fiance.
yeah,
I
she's
like it.
mad
Talk.
dope.
So what are you making this phenomenal table? This great luxury guest you got. What are you making them?
I will customize the meal to fit what they want.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Because I only have to make 5 dishes. So if
okay.
you say, okay, I like this and I like that, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have that for you. Because once I
Okay.
customize meals for some people, I know that that's their food preference and they're gonna love it, they're gonna enjoy it. I'm not gonna fix. Like,
Right.
everybody have different palates and
Yeah.
they have different food allergies. So I don't want to
Hmm.
take the risk. Some people may be vegan, some people may be pescatarian, some people might not, like pasta or whatever. So I will ask each one of them in the email, what would you prefer? And then when all 5 people are at the table, they all going to have a different plate in front of them. And that's going to be the most intriguing thing.
You answer like a real businessman chef. Let me
Yeah.
hit the hype bell for that. That's probably the best answer we got on that so far. Like now he's locking them in to do meal prep for them for the rest of their life. You're smart, brother. I saw what you did. All right, man. Last question. Advice you would give yourself, Terrence Hutchinson, on your first day out of the hospital after those 3 days. If you can go back and give yourself one line, what would it be?
Oh, man. Listen, bro. One line. Don't screw up again. Don't screw up again. That's it, man. Even I wish I can do more lines like control your stress or monitor your triggers. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I went from losing properties and businesses in New York from a divorce
Yeah.
at 39 years old to moving to Atlanta with my mama.
Got you.
That sent me imagine the feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get that. It feel like the things that you work hard for are being stripped away from you, and it's not really because of you or because of something you did. Yeah.
But it wasn't really stripped. I initiated the divorce, so it was uncontested, so I just gave it all up.
I get you.
Know what I'm saying? So when I got here, I'm like, man, I'm 39, man. I'm living with my mama. I said, this ain't the business. But I was recalibrating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now when I look at it, that was the best moving to Atlanta at that point was the best thing in my life.
Yeah, man, you have given us some great information, especially those trying to switch to another lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle. Those want to cut down those hospital bills and doctor bills. You've given them some information, and you've given us some great advice on how to get this food right and making sure that we live that healthy lifestyle. So we appreciate you. Let me hit this hype bell for you one more time. Before we get up out of here, let me give you guys a quick Reese's Peace of Mind. It's kind of coming from this interview right here, talking to Mr. Hutchinson and his healthy cuisine. Find happiness with your accomplishments without becoming complacent. You see that he's done that with his foods. He's found, he's doing the meal prep for Les Brown and becoming his personal chef, but that didn't stop there. He didn't become complacent. He's good with it. He's happy about it, but then he branched out. Now he's got his own spices. He's got his books. He's traveling the world. He's doing health and fitness. He's got clients. So you want to find your happiness and find your accomplishments and acknowledge those, but still don't become complacent and keep pushing forward, staying positive. We appreciate you, man. Once again, thank you.
Man, I appreciate the opportunity, man, and Happy New Year to you. Much continued blessings.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Man, it's such an inspiration, man. Thank you so much for having me, okay?
Thank you. And now you're a friend of the Reec Radio Show. We're going to have you back soon. We appreciate the time. Everybody else, stay tuned in. We're about to get back into this mix. You guys don't move. This is Reec Radio.